Well, we are following breaking news out of Northeast Albuquerque. There has been a shooting involving an officer near Washington and Montgomery.
And the good news for you this morning is that Montgomery is back open. News 13 Samantha McDonald has been out there all morning long. Sam, what have you learned about what happened?
Well, Matt, right now everyone is gone. The scene is cleared, but earlier this was just packed with officers. We spoke with APD Chief Alan Banks about exactly what happened. He says at about 2:34 this morning, a DWI officer attempted to stop a driver on eastbound Montgomery at Washington. Chief Banks says the next call from the officer said he was out with a man who had a gun. There was a confrontation and the officer shot the driver. The driver was hit and taken to the hospital where he is in critical but stable condition. The officer, though, was not injured. Chief Banks says this is a multi-jurisdiction investigation and all information is preliminary. Police are waiting to interview the officer involved to find out exactly what happened, and this is what else they have to say.
When we have an officer-involved shooting, obviously we want to make sure that we're very thorough in our investigation. We obviously reconstruct the incident itself, and so we might be out here for a while.
Well, as you can tell, they are no longer here. The roads have all been reopened, but police are still investigating, and we will keep you updated. Back to you.
All right, thank you for the update this morning, Samantha. Police are not saying who the officer is who fired his gun, also who the driver is. You should know, we did some research, found out this is the third Albuquerque police shooting in just the last month. It is the 8th officer-involved shooting here in New Mexico in just the last month. And happening now at 6:33, this is a live look at Copper and Spruce. It's near the university and I-25 in Central, where police and firefighters are investigating a fire as we speak. We also want to show you this video we got in. It is from Chelsea Palmer. We're hearing there's at least one car fire and possibly more in the area. We have a crew there. We're trying to talk with police and firefighters to find out exactly what is going on, but a good idea is avoid this area. It's Copper and Spruce. It's near I-25 and Central.
Well, developing this morning, some victims of recent crimes in Albuquerque may not ever see justice thanks to a former APD officer who was recently arrested on child porn charges.
Yeah, we started asking questions about this and found out that all of this former officer's old cases could be dropped. The feds arrested Nelson Begay at his home on Wednesday, a day after he resigned from APD. Now the district attorney's office will take a look at Begay's APD caseload from when he was on the job. The DA's office could not say exactly how many open cases Begay is a part of, but a victims' rights group is quite concerned this morning that criminals may not be held accountable.
It's something that we see on a fairly regular basis, that if an officer, doesn't make it, the case is dismissed, and it's just way too often.
A spokesperson with the DA's office says if Mr. Begay is a critical witness in a case and he cannot be in court for it, that case would probably get dropped. And we now know Nelson Begay is not the only former cop from his police academy class who has gotten into a lot of trouble. He graduated with APD's 100th cadet class back in 2008. We found out one of his classmates, April Sanchez, right here, resigned after she was caught driving drunk and keying her ex-husband's car in a drunken rampage. Another cadet, Robert Woolweaver, was fired after he was caught on surveillance cameras holding down a suspected car thief while his partner repeatedly kicked him. And then there is Brandon Carr. He was canned after he shot and killed an unarmed burglary suspect while the guy was running away. APD says it has made a number of changes to how it recruits officers since its 2008 class.
It's all about raising the bar and getting the best qualified candidates with the highest order of integrity.
On the flip side of all of this, a lot of cadets from the 100th class have gone on to do some very good work. In fact, Officer John O'Gueen here was honored for the city by catching a bank robber while he was off the clock, and Officer Travis Cochran helped save a little boy while he was drowning at a hotel pool.
We have learned while on suspension for posting a questionable tweet about State Education Department Chief, APS Superintendent Winston Brooks apparently had some sort of a medical episode. According to the Albuquerque Journal, on the last day of his 3-day suspension, which was Wednesday, Brooks was transported to the hospital by ambulance from his East Mountain home. No word on what the health emergency was, and APS does not want to talk about private health issues, but we do know that Brooks was back on the job yesterday. An Albuquerque teacher who got in a whole lot of trouble for a Facebook post is now appealing her 8-day suspension. A viewer sent us this screenshot claiming it's the post put up by Rio Grande High School teacher Jessica Quintana. It says, quote, "Furious. This teacher is going to kill some children tomorrow," end quote. APS says that violates its social media policy.
The screenshot you provided today is consistent with the language she herself said she used on the posting and that we were aware of.
School officials say Quintana was upset because a student had pulled a prank in her class and claims she was just venting. The Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department decided that the situation does not merit a criminal investigation. A growing danger on our roads is putting a lot of us at risk. More and more people are getting behind the wheel under the influence of drugs.
In fact, last night on special assignment, Katie Kim showed us police and lab scientists who investigate DWI cases and crashes. They say the number of people driving with drugs in their system has grown exponentially in the last few years. We revealed that many suspected impaired drivers will walk away without a DWI conviction, though. Why? Because prosecutors say this drugged driving is a lot more difficult to prove in court than drunk driving.
We have to prove the standard for drugged driving is that they're incapable of safely driving a vehicle. That's an abstract standard, and what does that mean exactly?
Not as simple as just having someone blow above a .08. In fact, one state legislator from Albuquerque tried to pass a law to help fix this problem. To find out more about why he has been unsuccessful, can't get these drug drivers off the road, log into KRQE.com. Check out Katie's story anytime or watch tonight at 9 o'clock on 2 Casa Fox. By the way,